And then that was the true light, which lighteth every man that come into this world. So John, he insists that there is no other light except this light for us. Word. The Word is God. The light is God. The light of God. And there's one person is witnessing for such a light. He was in the Word, and the Word was made by him. Here you will see John is diving deep into the nature of this light, or this person he was going to talk about. He was in the Word. He came. He was here. Was real. That's why, in John, 1 John, John, he said, we saw him, we heard him, right? And we touched him. So it's not a fiction. See, you cannot really touch light. You can see light. But see light and hearing the light and holding the light is a different story. And all of those is the word of life, which means all life coming from it, and he is the source of all life. This is why it's really important to understand John chapter 1, the gospel, to follow reading, or side by side maybe when you do Bible study, to go to 1 John, because you will find yourself reading exactly the same thing, but here, actually here, in the time of John, there's the Gnostic. I don't know if how many of you heard of them, who they are saying, they have a heresy. They are saying that Christ, as long as he's God, so God cannot be, a human. Human is like flesh is evil, material is evil. So in their belief, anything is a material is evil. It's bad. It is sin. Flesh is a sin. So how God he took flesh? So those group of people who they are claiming such a thing, that Christ, his flesh was not real. He appeared. And actually this is why you see some foolish prophets who claim to be prophet later, they say that it appeared to them to be the Messiah, if you remember. It appeared to be. He's taking this idea from the Gnostic. So John here is refuting a cult. Not only just explaining Christianity, he is refuting a cult who believed that Jesus' flesh was not real, that Jesus the man was not real, but Jesus the God is real. Which means his flesh is just an appearance. Is not a flesh of a man like us. For God is holy, so their belief. So when John was writing the letter, he was refuting them, saying, well, we saw him, you weren't there. Those who they are talking, they are coming with this idea, they didn't even meet Jesus. So John is saying, you know what? We are the one who saw him. We are the one who experienced him with our eyes, and we are the one who touched him. For real. We hold him. We looked upon him. So who are you to say to us what you are saying? And that what make the disciple message, and especially here John, is very powerful, because he exposed their lies, because they can deceive many. So now which one we will believe? The one who was named by Jesus, and even Jesus, he told him, this is your mother, to Mary, when he was on the cross. So which one we will follow? A person who is a philosopher coming with a new heresy, cult, saying Jesus was, God, yes, but his flesh was not real. Or the one who was a witness, who Jesus chose him in a very favorable way. You see, there is a disciples who they are considered universal disciples. Universal, the word universal is a word Catholic. Now, Catholic does not mean a church Catholic now, because I'm Catholic mean universal. So there is disciples who they are universal. Those are the one who sent to the world. So they are the one who carried the message for the world because they are special with their wisdom. John is one of the universal disciple. Attention seekers. So they might have a beard, they might call themselves rabbi, but a person who is so decent is a threat. And all of us, we knew that John the Baptist, he paid his life for his decency. So then you ask yourself, what is all the rabbis at that time? How come none of them dare to say to the ruler, how dare you? You know what I mean? So we have a king, he is going to do something horrible. He is going to do something horrible. The city is full of rabbis. You can imagine how many. Those are rabbis doing business. If you go to Mark chapter 6, you can read some of the story. So how they are going to love such a person? And that is telling you that they are, you know, businessmen. They are not really rabbis. How come they stood to fight Jesus, but nobody stood to fight the ruler, the king? Because they knew if they do, he will chop their head. Very simple. In the best scenario, he will put them in jail. And they favor to keep their mouth shut. So, you know, those rabbis, actually, we see them today. If you are a rich person, you know, even if you are a perverted man, everybody respects you, everybody open the door for you, everybody call you sir. But if you are a poor man, if you do little sin, you know, they will rebuke you and they will make an example of you. Right? When somebody is powerful, they go mute. When somebody, you know, suddenly they are decent. Suddenly they care for washing hands. Suddenly they care for breaking Sabbath. But everything around them was broken. For end of time is God's decision. Those who speak too much of end of time, I can accept that somebody talking about the end of time just to warn you, you know, so to wake up. But when somebody says to you, it's tomorrow, it's here, it is there, this is a fraud. End of time is by the hand of the Lord, and leave to the Lord what belongs to him. And what people say to you is their own saying. It's not biblical. So we continue here. You know, always, if you want to understand, like here, here there is no story as much as there is introduction for a story. It's a wise man, very wise, inspired by the Lord, introduction to the Messiah. So here we have, he come to his own. And here you notice we were talking about that his own, they received him not. Where is the rabbis? How come the rabbis, they could not see? Did you notice that not a single one of those who follow, you know, I mean, the one who recognize the great people like John the Baptist, where is the rabbis? Where, you know, let us say they don't like Jesus. What about John the Baptist? What he did to them? So those rabbis, they are businessmen, and today we have businessmen everywhere, and religion is a business for many, big business. And this is way what they do. the enemy of Christ these days. So they try to convert your sons, make them believe that you are the enemy of God. That's why Jesus says, time will come, and people will think by killing you, they are doing favor to God. So there was a man sent by God, or from God, whose name was John. And this John, he is coming to witness for a great event is going to happen. He will witness for the light. We are talking about the Word, about the beginning, that God is the Word, the light, and the light will be for the man, and the light will not be comprehended or destroyed by the darkness. And there's a man is waiting, he have instruction to witness for the light. Until now we have nothing, we heard nothing except word and light. No Christ yet. So he came to witness for the light. So we might believe in him, who? The light. So here you see John the Baptist is a very great figure. You know, if you read about him, he was really a powerful person. I did read a lot about John the Baptist, to the point even religions who have nothing to do with Judaism and Christianity adopt John the Baptist to be a great teacher. So this person, because he is beloved, because he is trustworthy, because people believe him to be very, very, very extremely genuine, a messenger of God, he is going to witness for the light of God. Which means that John the Baptist, he is there to prepare the way. How guilty, how hateful, how loving, how giving, how greedy. So here actually, you know, even though we are not going deep inside the Bible, but you will see from the beginning, the source of life is the Holy Lord himself, and your life is given to you, and the light, the Lord himself, is coming to you to serve you. This is why here where it says, in him was life, which means in him you came to existence. In him, in his life, in his power, the light came to existence to the men, the disciples, whoever going to preach the gospel. So you are in the center of the interest of the Lord, to the point he sent his only begotten Son. So you will see Christianity is totally different from any belief. When somebody says to you, Christians, they copy from this religion and this religion, this is absolutely false, because there is no other belief. Make God a servant to the one who is worshiping him. You know what I mean? I mean, he's God. You should worship him. You should bow down to him. He can kill you. He can destroy you. He can send you to hell. You will see Christ is coming to you in different approach. I love you. And this is what we will see later. Because later we will see that John, he introduced to us God in a way nobody introduced it in any belief ever. None. And I challenge when I say none. When we continue reading, you know, and we will see how he spoke about love, how we can even recognize God. How we recognize God. Who is this God? I mean, things became complicated then. You will see that God is love. God is love. So this God who is love, he don't want from you anything except to be loving. Can't you? I mean, look how simple what this he don't want you to do, you know, like some other religions, to do some kind of stuff, and you know, you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to do this to satisfy me. You have to be a loving to others. He don't even ask you like, okay, love me, worship me, you know. He is not being the center of, you know, of like, this is why when he came, he washed the feet and the disciple could not believe it. Why in the world you want to wash our feet? I mean, you are our Lord. And then the Messiah, he said to them, if you don't let me do it, you don't belong to me. In order to be a master, you have to be a servant. You cannot be a master unless you are a servant.